This is going to be interesting. I like carving necks. I've always liked carving necks since I started making guitars, but this is a little different. This is that 7-stripe neck. So I'm not carving. I mean, I've carved a laminate neck before with 3 stripes, but this is going to be something else. I'm interested to see how this is going to turn out. Yeah, I like the way that's going. I tend to like things to happen a bit faster. So I'm just going to grab my angle grinder with the flap disc and see if we can make things happen a little more quickly. The disc that's on there is getting a little bit bald, but we'll get everything out of it that we can. Just so that you know, I am taking precautions. Well, so far so good. And so far, as you know, is first of all, I went at it with the Shinto saw rasp, and then with the flap disc. You can see that's getting quite worn down. I should replace that. I've got a pile of discs I could use on the angle grinder. And then a bit more with the Shinto, and just so that I can show you where things are at, I smoothed it over with the random orbital sander at 120 grit. So it'll be rough again when I go at it with my rasp. That looks great. Early days yet. I've got to take more material off. Certainly a lot more of that side. I've really focused on this side mostly. But that effect with the stripes there is really, really nice. There is a very small gap, one there. There may be the occasional one elsewhere. But that's not too bad. Before I do any other finishing, I will apply a grain fill to the neck. I'll probably do a tinted one, make it black. That tends to have a nice effect. But yeah, I will continue shaping the neck and show you when it's done. I'm really pleased with how this striped neck idea is turning out. All right, all the major shaping is done. One tool that I used on this that I didn't show you, you may have seen this in other people's videos, but I've just started using them now, and they are very nice. They're called Iwasaki files. I'm assuming Iwasaki is the name of the company that makes them. They're a Japanese hand tool. Japanese woodworking tools, man, they're just amazing. What you're looking at there is basically a whole lot of what function like planer blades. And it's quite a different feel from a normal curved file as you move it over the wood. But once you get the hang of it and get into the swing of things, you can actually cut a reasonably smooth finish with that. Now, this is the rougher one. You can get a fine cut version, which I don't have. But even with the rougher one, it's not that rough. It doesn't turn out like that, of course. I've sanded that since. So that one was really useful around the volute, the curved one. And I've got a flat one as well, which is just a handy all-purpose file. I use that for rounding over the sides like so. I still prefer the Shinto, but those are a close second, I think. Right, I guess the next step is to glue this in. There will be some fine sanding on details, but that's okay. I can do that right near the end. Let's glue this baby in. All right, time to glue this in. I've put tape around the edges of the pocket, just in case any glue does come out. I don't want it getting all over the wood. So let's get some glue in there and then spread it around. I'm just putting some tape over this so that when I clamp a caul down onto it, this thing, it won't get glued on. which is pretty important. And this is low tack tape, so it shouldn't make any mess on the wood. Any mess that it does make will be small enough that it will come off with a very light sand. Right, clamps. Glue the body in place, not too tightly. Just see that it's oozing out a wee bit more than I thought it would. So clean that up before it has a chance to do any harm. What's there now can be sanded off pretty easily. Well, that's clamped up enough. I can see under that tape that I put on just now that there is a bit of a mess of glue at that joint, which is going to be, or has spread slightly onto the neck piece. Look, I'll just scrape that and sand it. Not the end of the world. All right. This is the first neck. Well, it's not the first neck I've ever glued in. No, it's not. So I won't say that. Have you seen the other neck that I've glued in? Well, you saw the one on the Blackwood Telecaster, but there is another one that I've done that you haven't seen, and you'll probably see it in the future, and you have no idea what I'm talking about now. Okay, let's let this cook. Well, the glue is dry, and it's mostly a success. There is an area that I'm going to do some correcting on, and I'll show you that in a moment, but doesn't that look cool? There's a bit of a mock-up going on here. I'm trying to decide, and I've put the question out to my Facebook friends. Oops, turn my light off. I'm trying to decide on the knobs that I should use, whether these silver ones, which have tone and volume on them, and they look pretty cool, or these clear ones with black and brown, which don't have anything written on them, but that's not really important. I do like the brown, but it's not a brown that really matches the brown of the wood, so I'm undecided at this point. I may go with silver, maybe leaning that way.